work. Have been asking him to leave me alone and telling him to leave me alone. There's a lot of other people who have been involved in the situation, and a lot of these people, we may not get along. We may not see eye to eye. We may not agree on everything, but the thing that we do have to agree on is that we either stick up for each other or we're all screwed. So with them letting me know about Wolnez and in the past, when it gets to the point where there's this many assaults against a person, you know, even the homeless community steps up and starts saying, hey, that's fucked up. Even people that are mad at you are able to admit that, hey, this is way beyond screwed up. Now, I'm grateful because the homeless really have done more than anyone else, just because they're doing things that are effective. What Scott did to end this BS was effective. What Pun and Tiffany did to help stop the abuse was effective. What James did to help stop the abuse was effective. There's a lot of people who aren't understanding the difference between effective help and ineffectual help. If somebody is being assaulted, they need to turn in the person who's being so that person can be stopped. And you help them with a sandwich. Have you helped them stop the abuse? Have you reduced the risk of it happening in the future? And I've said that from the very beginning. I'm not just going to stand there and watch. Now, there are times where I've said such a thing out of sarcasm and spite. I tell people, hey, if you're just going to stand there and watch people hurt me, I'll just stand there and watch people hurt you. It's fair. But then you want to pretend that's a threat. No, what Wolnez has been doing is threats. What Tim Beeson did was threats. What Ted Bollinger did was threats. Now, I'm grateful that Ashley has spoken up more than once about the situation, even with her anger. She's spoken more than once to me. She's also, well, they've all had to tell Wolnez just to leave them the hell alone. See, some of these people looked into it, but actually followed through to the end. They're aware that I'm not a murderer, that I'm not a child molester, that I'm a rapist. They're also aware that if something happens to them, yeah, it's going to be recorded. They also know that I'll get loud. What do I do when people's lives are at stake? I get loud. Very, very, very loud. Now with Nick and Ashley, several others coming up to me and telling me about the issue with Wolnez, with the stuff that he's continuing to do, you know, it does present a safety issue for me. It does create a scenario and a situation where I have to be afraid for my safety. And let's take a look at why. Let's take a look. Obviously, in over 30 recordings with Andrew Wolnez, he has approached me every single time, and I've literally approached. He has assaulted me he's assaulted my at least 5 times, independently of beating on my vehicle on the days that he assaulted me. There's also multiple recordings of him hitting my phone, him throwing rocks at my vehicle. There's multiple videos of him screaming horrible names at me. He wants to use the F word. You know, the one that bigots use to try to pretend you're a homosexual, as if that makes it okay to harm you or assault you. Anyway, I'm glad that these folks, regardless of our differences, are able to recognize the safety issues in this situation. And I am so glad that homeless people, even if they don't like me, are trying to do something about the situation. From Ashley and Kim to Jennifer and David, even Jeff and Alexander. And if you know anything about Alexander, he don't care about nobody's business. So the fact that he cares about my business does say something. Now, a lot of these people that are drug addicts, they're not trying to intentionally harm. They should have pawned me off on drug addicts anyway. That serve primarily drug addicts. And then when I get taken advantage of for going to those places that service primarily drug addicts, I get told that it's my fault for hanging out with drug addicts. Well, who is it that was helping me clean up Lillian A. Goodspeed Park? Now you guys know, if something fucked up happens, I'll use them filthy words like junkie. You know I will. And I'll say it in a girl voice. Because I'd rather use curse words and girl voices than go running around assaulting people and shooting people and running people over with my car. Which, by the way, are things that the predators I've been trying to turn in have been threatening for years. It's not the victim's fault when police don't do their jobs. It's the police's fault the police don't do their jobs. It's not the victim's fault when the DA's office won't do their jobs. It's not the victim's fault when mental health won't do their jobs. It's not the victim's fault when you take advantage of them. Anyway, I'm thankful to John. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go tell John thank you. I see him now. Hey! Never mind. He was busy, but he did wave at me. Oh my, there's freaking someone in this video. Oh.